The noes have it. Vote has been requested. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Schwartz? No. Ms. Schwartz? No. Ms. Capter? Ms. Capter, aye. Mr. Becerra? Mr. Doggett? Mr. Doggett? No. Mr. Blumenauer? Mr. Blumenauer? No. Mr. Berry? Mr. Berry, aye. Mr. Boyd? Mr. Boyd? No. Mr. McGovern? Mr. McGovern? No. Ms. Thongus? Ms. Thongus? No. Mr. Etheridge? Mr. Etheridge? No. Ms. McCollum? Ms. McCollum? No. Mr. Yarmouth? Mr. Yarmouth? No. Mr. Andrews? Mr. Andrews? No. Ms. DeLauro? Ms. DeLauro? No. Mr. Edwards? Mr. Edwards? No. Mr. Scott? Mr. Scott? No. Mr. Langevin? Mr. Langevin? Aye. Mr. Larson? Mr. Larson? No. Mr. Bishop? Mr. Bishop? No. Ms. Moore? Ms. Moore? No. Mr. Connolly? Mr. Connolly? No. Mr. Schrader? Mr. Moore? Mr. Moore? No. Mr. Ryan?
Aye.
Mr. Ryan? Aye. Mr. Henseling?
Aye.
Mr. Henseling? Aye. Mr. Garrett? Mr. Diaz-Balart? Mr. Diaz-Balart? Aye. Mr. Simpson? Mr. Simpson? Aye. Mr. McHenry? Mr. McHenry? Aye. Mr. Mack? Mr. Mack? Aye. Mr. Campbell? Mr. Campbell? Aye. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Jordan? Aye. Ms. Lummis? Ms. Lummis? Aye. Mr. Austria? Mr. Austria? Aye. Mr. Adderholt? Mr. Adderholt? Aye. Mr. Nunez? Mr. Nunez? Aye. Mr. Harper? Mr. Harper? Aye. Mr. Latta? Mr. Latta? Aye. Mr. Spratt?
No.
Mr. Spratt? No.
Are there additional members who wish to be recorded? If not, the clerk will announce the vote.
Mr. Chairman, on that vote, the ayes are 17, the noes 19.
The ayes are 17, the noes 19, and the motion is not agreed to.